following may initially seem to be nothing more than a wild hypothetical scenario imagined by a fanatical doomsday prophet or an extreme conspiracy buff of some sort, but nevertheless the unprecedented global transformation taking place rapidly. Now, all these drastic changes taking place, whether in world politics, economy, science, technology, or even in religion. I am convinced that UFOs, or at least what the public continues to perceive as UFOs, will play a significant role in bringing about such a paradigm shift. It is my belief that UFOs are somehow linked to a sinister, quote-unquote, occultic force present in the world today. Now, this dramatic invasion and the ensuing catastrophic conflagration in the Middle East will immediately be followed by earthquakes that led to initial Russian dominance in securing close collaboration from many of such Russian experts, and subsequently opening up newer areas in strategic application that coordinates its research activities with DARPA, which is the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency. The total effects of mind control upon human behavioral patterns, but also on its possible applications relative to such areas as genetic engineering and exploration of the human genome. A large underground genetics laboratory utilizing tens of thousands of cattle in the Southwest to conduct this covert experiment. Only recently has science proven that cow hemoglobin could be substituted by utilizing biblical eschatology, to which I subscribe. There will yet be two more great conflicts in the Middle East involving Israel. Both will be catastrophic in scale as never seen before. As I proposed previously, Israel was not involved militarily. There have only been 4 Middle East, backed by a restructured Russian Federation, will make a move towards Israel. The second war, known as the Battle of Armageddon, will take place, I believe, 7 years later, possibly around the time of the celebration of the Jewish feast of what I call the Feast of the Trumpet. It is my understanding that the European community, the EC, will even force Israel to sign the treaty if it had not done so by the end of 1992. Although the so-called scientific community at large, on the surface, this seems to be a very logical thing, very logical. Unfortunately, this is merely an assumption right now, only pure conjecture at best, at least for the present time. Yet, some even go so far as to say that a secret mutual treaty of some kind had been formalized between the extraterrestrial entities and a human governmental agency representing an alleged secret world government. Such a scenario is quite possible and cannot be disproven. The majority of those that adamantly assert that UFOs signify actual physical alien visitation from a distant planet in outer space, in a new paradigm shift, as I had mentioned previously, that will be brought upon the world very shortly. It is no longer an exaggeration to state that such a force, an element that zealously advocates a quasi-religious, metaphysical concept of a personal God. Such a belief system facilitates the wholehearted acceptance of UFOs as interplanetary vehicles from yonder by a seemingly dramatic increase recently in the so-called UFO contacts, allegedly claimed by hundreds, perhaps even thousands of people across the globe on an individual basis, including those that even claim to have been abducted by UFOs and released after having been genetically experimented on by the entities inside the craft. Now, yet I must point out that some of the most highly respected UFO researchers in the world today, such as Dr. Jacques Vallée and John A. Keel, seem to have practically abandoned the ET hypothesis due to the insurmountable challenges and questions posed by the increasing inconsistencies and contradictions. We must face the fact that more than 40 years of worldwide UFO sightings in the contemporary era, as well as the alleged contacts, have produced not a single hard, physical, tangible, indisputable evidence so far that seems to substantiate the ET visitation hypothesis. Even to this day, the questions remain unanswered. Now, did some physical spacecraft of unknown origin, part of a carefully orchestrated disinformation campaign by the government itself, for some reason or the other? These are all questions, I believe, that we must ponder without question. Let me tell you something about the year 1948. We must take into consideration that such an extensive, long-lasting, and very successful cover-up may possibly exist not only in just one, but in several layers. There is no doubt in my mind that what I could only best describe as highly intelligent, but characteristically serpentine, and I'm saying it in double meaning, ultra-dimensional negative entities ingeniously materializing and conveniently posing as extraterrestrial aliens are presently here on Earth and are interacting with a deceived human agency such as that representing a de facto secret international government. Under the guise of fulfilling the agreement set forth in the initial clandestine treaty, it is my opinion that under such programs, the alleged entities may be primarily providing some type of parapsychological inspiration. That's the best word I can say. In the meantime, there seems to be some changes taking place in the governmental policies that will result from such propagations in order to proceed on with their own agenda and plans. I'm convinced that 1992 seems to be a turning point in more ways than one. And will the government announce some startling information, or disinformation, I don't know, regarding the UFO cover-up? Will there be some kind of announcement regarding Area 51? I feel like something is going to come out. More and more serious documentary and semi-documentary types of programs concerning UFOs and aliens seem to be lined up already to be shown on independent as well as national network television. Is this just a coincidence, or is the government slowly conditioning the public for some type of announcement or admission? By the way, locations of test flights of highly advanced unconventional crafts do not seem to be limited to just Area 51, ladies and gentlemen. Southern California is unquestionably one of the most important regions for the nation's aerospace industry. Seem to indicate that top secret projects involving new types of aircraft that incorporate, quote, novel propulsion systems, unquote, are being conducted by the government through the conglomerate effort of the so-called aerospace covert operations divisions. Now, whatever the answers may be, something seems to be taking place behind the wall of dark veil of secrecy. By the way, there is already a covert Northrop facility located in the Antelope Valley area at the foothills of the Tehachapi Mountains, northwest of Lancaster, where testing of highly advanced craft similar to those at Area 51 in Nevada, but much smaller in the scale of operation, are allegedly being conducted. Based on increasing sighting reports, and I've been there many times, by nearby residents and other witnesses, it seems that remote-controlled surveillance orbs of some sort are also being tested at this facility. On June 29th of this year, a special combined investigative team composed of members of the Civilian Intelligence Network. A few days later, we learned that there were other independent sighting reports by multiple witnesses of the same object just about the same time, but 30 miles away, right by Edwards Air Force Base. Now, in late August of this year, ladies and gentlemen, members of both the Civilian Intelligence Network and the Secret Saucer Base expeditions, there is no doubt in my mind that an official cover-up of major proportions of the entire subject was imposed by some supra-governmental authority.